This Marquee Dragon video is sponsored by Shattered Crystal, game codes, and items.
I'm Marquee Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and today I am in the Redwood Forest, Northern California, along the Avenue of Giants, in an area called Founders Grove. This is where some of the largest redwoods can be found. In fact, when you walk right into this area, there was one that I think was 378 feet tall. That's pretty tall. Base of about 40 feet. And behind me, many of these trees here, they're everywhere. And they're just huge. In fact, so big that we couldn't find a spot to film this to where we could capture the whole grandeur of how tall these trees really are. It's just too tall. So, I have a great question today from a Dampy Richard Denton. And he messaged me on Facebook, and he says he's a big fan. Thank you. Thought you guys, the show wouldn't happen, huh? He says that he is in envy of how I'm able to make a living with video games and doing what I love. Well, you know, this is really a lot of work. So while it all looks fun on camera and stuff, you know, I work more than 40 hours a week. And while some of that work even includes playing games, many times the games that I'm playing are games that I find very boring. In fact, the other day we were testing out a new game, and it's a social game for tweens. The game, I don't even know, I don't remember what it was called, but it was much like Habbo Hotel. And so we're going, you know, I get in there and I'm trying to figure it out and everything, and I used my Facebook login to log in. Well, what happened was it then announced to everybody on Facebook that I was playing this game. So anyway, that was just funny, but back to the story. So you asked the question, I am constantly thinking of ways to jump into the industry through some form of business idea, but my problem is confidence. I never follow through with any of the ideas I think of. I'd love to know what your secret to being game is and trying new ideas. So I use a method that's called Ready, Fire, Aim. Now, not everyone at my company really appreciates this method because if you paid attention just now, you'll notice that I said those things out of order because it's usually ready, aim, fire. Well, with this, it is ready, fire, aim. And basically, it's a method of testing things, testing ideas cheaply and quickly to see whether or not anything sticks. And so I skip the whole aiming thing to get everything narrowed down. I just get an idea and I throw something up and I see what happens. And I've learned over the years what kind of responses from people are good responses and what are bad responses. Typically, the bad responses are when no one responds, when no one pays any attention. That's a big clue to just move on to the next thing. But when you have something that you try or that you do or you share an idea and everybody really lights up on it, then that's where you do the aiming. That's where you bring in the focus a bit and then you take another stab at it and you see what happens. So this is not a method that works for everyone. And you know, it doesn't take anything into account about confidence. And really with confidence, to get past the confidence issue, I think what's needed is, you know how there are people who always plan to get things done, and they plan and they put everything out and they just plan, but they never take any action. So in the terms of ready, fire, aim, you need to pull the trigger. And you need to do that before you think you're ready. And what I mean by that is that it's a whole ready, fire, aim method to where you put something out there just to see whether or not anything's going to happen. And so you don't have to go through all the setup and everything. And it really is a way to get past your inability to get action done. So there are people out there who are not action oriented, but in order for you to be a successful entrepreneur and to get anything done within the video game industry or any industry, you have to figure out how to pull the trigger. And so the best method with confidence is that you're not confident that it's done enough, that it's polished enough. Who cares? Put it out there. Did you know that even if you get negative responses, you're getting responses back? And that means that people do have an interest. Because if they had no interest whatsoever, they wouldn't even take the time to give you a negative response. So, those may not be as good as positive responses, but it's still a response and still helps you, to figure out whether or not it's a good idea or not. Some of the ideas that I've had in the past did not work out. And other ideas did. And I would say that out of the ideas that I would say I probably try 30 or 40 things on the Ready, Fire, Aim method before one really lights up and does well. Now I'll have maybe 25% of them to where I'll get feedback on them and it'll sound really good and stuff. And then we spend some money and we hone everything down. And you don't even have to spend money. It could just be time. And pull everything together and relaunch, redo something again to see what happens. So anyway, it's all about pulling the trigger. I think that'll get you past your confidence thing. And don't let failure, be an impedance to you trying again. Because failure to me is not a big deal at all. And I could see how that would disrupt somebody's confidence to fail at something, and then why would you want to try again? But the fact is that failure is just an expensive lesson. It costs you either money or time or whatever. But look at it as it's not failure, it's a success, because you learned part of the puzzle on what not to do again. And that is how I've gotten where I am today, and it's through way more failures than successes. I'm Marcus Eikenberry. Take care. So for a little reference of size, of just how big these are, this one appears to have fallen over. Now they've got a little barrier here, but I'm not going to worry about that. Oh. These trees are enormous.